Basically, I knew from the start I was different and always going to be different. So basically, I faced adversity from day one. Yeah, the moment I left home, the love of the home, and got outside, went to school, and then I've always been a target. You know, I soon learned at a very young age, my leveller was the fist, you know. And I always say this, the football was 90 minutes, the violence was 90 seconds.
Subject today is the English disease. They've asked to remain nameless, but the gentlemen concerned are members of one of Britain's most violent hooligan gangs, the Intercity Force.
It's the Intercity firm, love.
My mother came over from Jamaica, just 17, looking for work. At that stage, Britain in 1958, it's before the UK. Before multiculturalism, you know. So they were basically foreigners, even though there's British Commonwealth. And the signs up everywhere were on pubs and on digs, lodgings, you know. Was quite often no blacks, no Irish, and no out of wedlock. And being brought up by white foster parents who were my mum and dad in a neighbourhood that was purely white, and the next 5 towns were only white, you know what I mean? So I was the only blank face. Basically, I knew from the start I was different and always going to be different. So basically, I faced adversity from day one. Yeah, the moment I left home, the love of the home, and got outside and went to school, and then I've always been a target. Felt sympathetic to us and offered to take me to my first football match, which was a magnificent gesture. And it was 1966, England won the World Cup, so the whole nation was football crazy. There was a great feel-good vibe through the football. And when you go to your first football match as a boy, it's like Raw the Rover stuff, it's magic. West Ham had a black player, John Charles, you know, and later Clyde Best. So, you know what I mean? I felt warmth there, and I felt, for the first time in life, I felt colour was not an issue. The only colour that was an issue is the colours of your football team, which was claret and blue.
It's the facts that are destroying football.
The culture then was peace and love, hippies, anti-war, rock, music. So that was the kind of culture brought up with. And all of a sudden, 67, and by the time we got to 69, you got a backlash against the peace culture, which was aggressive culture of the skinhead. Then the aggressive subculture come along, and it captured me, the skinhead culture, and I loved it. You know, I was a black skinhead, you know, because it had black music, Trojan, you know, reggae music, you know. So I was discovering my roots, which was totally alien to me, you know. Also something else come along, which was Muhammad Ali, you know what I mean? So amongst all the hate I was growing up with, there was this confusion where Britain loved Cassius Clay, you know, hence my name Cass, you know. It was a nickname given to me at school, which was better than my original name of Carol, you know, which was a girl's name.
You know their top boys are, so look after them first, and the rest of them will grab them.
And football was like, wow, you know what I mean? It was tribal, you know. But suddenly I belonged in this tribe. I found, you know what I mean? I found I fitted in quite well. And when the aggressive culture came along, like I told you, the skinhead culture, it introduced gangs, you know. So there's gangs at school, and there's gangs on the street, and suddenly are the use, you know. There's a fine line from being bullied to going the other way, you know. I soon learned at a very young age, my leveller was the fist, you know. At Charlton in 76, I was arrested and put up in the Old Bailey, you know. My trial was in the Old Bailey, and I've become the first football hand through the pressure of the media and the will of the public wanting something done about it. I was made an example of, and I was given a prison sentence. And I couldn't figure, I was being talked about on radio stations, pick the radio and the police cell up, and then they'd be talking about me in Houses of Parliament. When they're debating the issue of football violence, my name kept cropping up. And then my name was in the papers, you know, national papers, you know. This is crazy. I'm not an actor, and I'm not a football player. You know what I mean? I'm just a guy on the street who got in a bit of trouble, you know. I was challenged, you know, that prison sentence challenged me, because if we thought it was quite a racial environment on the outside, it was nothing to like inside. Everything was pure black and white. So I started trying to write my life as it had been at the time. And also, I was angry, and I was angry youth, you know, because they were talking about my gang as being racist and thick, you know what I mean? And I thought, not the people I knew, you know what I mean? These are the first people in my life that gave me equality and treated me as an equal, you know? And there were some great guys. And so I started writing about me and the gang, you know? And it was in prison on these exercise books that I was actually writing down my life story. So from the prison officers ripping up my chance of a way out of the gang, yeah, to karma, with my book being in the high street, in the shops, you know what I mean? And it became a phenomenon because no one knew the inside story of of football gangs.
Isn't football a hotbed of racism?
But the challenges we learned in the gang, because you've got to think, we're not an army and we're not a political group, you know what I mean? It's just like-minded youths doing stuff that didn't really fit in, well, wasn't acceptable because of the violence side, but there was more than the violence going on. I always say this, the football was 90 minutes, and the violence was 90 seconds, but the lads would talk about the whole weekend, so there must be something more going on than just the violence. So it took me 23 years before the book was published, but I never gave up.